I came to his mansion the first time in 2008. I was very heavily into my addiction, and it was getting worse. I was in jail, I was homeless. When I stepped on this hill, it was very evident that the Lord's presence was like overwhelming, and that in itself was like overwhelming. I met my husband here, and we were married for almost 10 years. In 2019, he passed away from an overdose, and that then tailspinned me back into the abyss, if you will. I was just active in addiction for a year, really bad. I overdosed. It had shaken me to my core, honestly, because you can slip away so easily and you don't even know that that's what's happening. And I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to feel anything.
I was in a relationship at 18 with the father of my first two kids. He also started to become addicted to alcohol. So that's kind of when things started going downhill for us, in kind of the ruins of feeling like I kind of ruined my family because I'm the one who walked away. I ended up in a relationship with a close friend of mine, ended up pregnant very quickly with my third child, and things then became really abusive. Mentally and emotionally at first, it was unbearable to the point where I was unrecognizable by anybody who really knew me. Once she was born, it then became physical, and she was used as a pawn to end the abuse. I ended the relationship fully, and that's pretty much how I ended up losing my home. I lost everything I had ever worked for, and including her at 5 months old. I lost all my children.
I am in recovery, and I had a terrible experience where I had overdosed living at my mom's house. I had actually been sober and relapsed and overdosed with my children home. That was something that for a long time I felt a lot of shame and guilt about, but I can see how God used that and brought me exactly where I am today. From there I went to a rehab, and 2 days before I was supposed to leave that rehab, I hadn't gotten accepted into a program. Nobody was really taking anybody. And then my counselor came over and she's like, "Mariah, quick, someone's on the phone. This new program that opened up, Lydia's House of Hope." And I think the next day I was on my way here.
So my dad is a pastor, and they were in the mission field for about 3 or 4 years when I was from the ages of about 10 to 13. And we lived in Cyprus. Going there, I was exposed to a lot of different things. When I came back from Cyprus, I immediately fell into smoking pot and drinking, and it pretty quickly escalated into the use of hard drugs. A strange thing happens in addiction it's almost more dangerous than the drug itself, but you're kind of indoctrinated with all these lies about yourself and about the people around you and the world around you. The idea of relationship and love was something that was 100% transactional. I had accepted that as reality and kind of discarded the values that I had grown up with. When I came to his mansion, it was one of the first things that really started to poke a hole in my understanding. I kept trying to find out what people's motives were. I wanted to know what the agenda was. I wasn't paying to be here, and yet I had all these people around me who were really caring for me and wanted me to get better in a way that I hadn't experienced in programs or institutions in the past. And eventually, I had to admit to myself that there was no hidden agenda, and that there were these group of people who really just cared for me and wanted to see me experience healing and wanted to have a relationship with me despite all the things that I had done in my past.
I think what shocked me more was the genuine sincerity of just a genuine we do love you and we welcome you here and we're so glad you're here. For me, it was you don't know me. You don't know the things that I've done. If you did, you wouldn't feel that way. But even as I got to know them and they got to know my story, it didn't change, And that's shocking for someone who always had to look out for themselves.
At first, you're on your way here and you're nervous, you're leaving everything you're familiar with, and you're coming into a house with a bunch of people you don't know. You quickly realize how much everyone's here to support you and love you. And when I walked into my bedroom, it was just an immediate sense of like I was home.
I was like overwhelmed and constantly running. That was like what I was known for when I got here. But over a period of time and like learning to like not stress about the small things and, you know, not worry, all of those things will come in time. And like now I feel like such a calmer, more open, and honestly more humble person. I'm a completely different person than I was when I came in here.
I always thought that I could experience freedom from my mistakes and my shame and my past behaviors by starting fresh and having no one know me. But the truth is I didn't experience freedom from those things until I allowed myself to be fully known and experience love despite the things that I've done. The people here were absolutely instrumental. And of course, this is a great program. But the most important thing, the most impactful thing on my life has just been having relationships and having that experience of being cared for and being loved, despite what I thought about myself at the time.
His mansion is life-changing because the Lord has chose this, I believe, as like a sanctuary and a place of refuge for those who need it. And he's put the body of Christ here to come alongside and love and encourage and fight for you when you can't fight and speak truth into you and affirm you.
Here at Lydia's house, they teach you how to advocate for yourself, which is a huge thing for, I think, women who have kind of felt devalued, whether it was abuse or trauma or their childhood. But here they make your feelings, like they validate you, they respect how you feel. They individualize your care here. The biggest change now is I have strong boundaries and I have value and worth. I know my worth in Christ. I know that I'm loved beyond all measure. I feel like I have people who see me for the real me and loved me through it, through the worst when I first got here, and they still love me exactly the same as they do now. They always have.
For a year, you're building a new habit. You're learning like, okay, I am worthy. There are reasons to love me. Like I am here for a reason. And I think that's so important, and just everything that these people are putting into it. Like they're literally volunteering their time, their energy, and their money into this place, into our lives. And they don't even know us. I mean, I take that everywhere with me. I always want to help others. I will never forget what these people have done for this place. Actually, it makes me feel really emotional just thinking about it.
This home heals you from the inside out. It's really about looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I know I can change and I will. When you feel like there is no way, they will pray for you because they know that God is going to make that way for you. Everyone loves you here and values you here, and they are willing to make sure that you succeed. And as long as you want the support, they're going to be here to give it to you.
If there were nothing else that I could get through to a person, I would say that this is a place where Jesus does miracles and where lives are restored and where things that you may have written off as not being possible years and years ago are possible.
Thank you for supporting his mansion. You have no idea the impact you have on a lot of these people because of the support and your prayers. We eat 3 meals a day. We have a roof over our heads and beds and bedding. And so we appreciate that a lot. And we are very thankful.